welcome to our new series, Tea Time with Redprop, where we will spill the tea on new launch projects and let you know whether you should or shouldn't buy. We'll analyze each project based on facts and data publicly available, and then present our honest, unbiased personal opinions for each individual projects. And at the end of the video, we'll give a score out of 5 along with our reasons why. So let's get right into it. So the project we will be talking about today is Skye at Holland. So what jumps out to me for this project details is firstly the developer. So it's by Holland Development Private Limited, which is a joint venture by Capital Land, UOL Group Limited, Singapore Land Group Limited, and King Leong Company. All of them big companies, very well-known project developers in Singapore. Secondly, it's also 2 blocks of 40 stories. So just for context, the project right beside this Skye at Holland is One Holland Village. It has 38 stories, so it's higher. If you buy the top floor, there are 666 units. So the first question today that I have for you guys is, how important are developers in a project?
Actually, whether or not a project does well, right, a lot of times I feel that the developer is actually very important. But at the end of the day, I feel that pricing is the most important. UOL, right, Capital Land, King Leong, all this, they are all very big, big developers, very big guys, right? So if you look at it, UOL, they have been very, very good with whatever project they have done recently. What are UOL known for? They are known to have very, very good landscaping. Another big developer in this project, right, is actually Capital Land, right? So Capital Land used to be known for malls. They're very good at retail malls. But recently with One Pearl Bank, everything changed. Capital Land has improved a lot, right? Obviously for King Leong, because they're related to UOL, you know, they are doing all the high-end projects. So this one, I believe that this project with all these big developers will be something to look forward to. What about you, Austin?
I think a lot of consumers have this notion that, oh, the developers, you know, what if the developers go bankrupt, this and that, whatnot. But I think, to me, right, first of all, like all these developers, in order to even bid for all these land in Singapore, right, there's a certain benchmark they need to meet for MAS before they can even bid for this land. So
I think in Singapore, it's a bit hard for developers to go bankrupt, right?
Correct.
They are usually quite established companies.
And from what I've seen so far, most of the developers, you know, in terms of their layouts, their builds, their finishing, right, there's always a certain bit of standard. Of course, these bigger developers like, you know, UOL, Capital Land, they are more reputable, and so far most of their projects like Skye Habitat, you know, Pine Tree Hill, all these projects are doing well.
I think the main thing about this project, right, is why there needs to be 4 big developers coming in here, because this piece of land, if you guys realize, right, was bidded at about 800 million. So it's not a small development, it's not a small size project, right?
Okay, so the next question I have for you guys is, what is considered a good size project? So for example, this project, Skye at Holland, has 666 units. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow, 66大顺
66大顺, yeah, very nice number.
But in general, I would say that if the project is at least a good size, I would consider 300 and above. Mainly is because, right, we want there to be a healthy number of transactions in this development to help the property's prices appreciate over time. More units also means that the project size is probably bigger, which means that your facilities are probably more grand. I think what we would typically advise clients to avoid, if as much as possible, are boutique developments. That you know, maybe too small, maybe only got 30 units. Then at the same time, your management fee also very expensive. You know?
Yep, agree. I think another thing, when talking about good size project, right, I feel that where Skye at Holland is sitting around 600 over units is actually quite a good range. I would say anywhere between 400 to 700 is pretty good. But recently, I think a lot of people are very hyped up about mega projects.
Yes, those 1,000 over units.
Yes, correct. So this is not one of those, but there's good and bad, because when you have a mid-sized project, right, you get that good flow in terms of your transactions. But when it comes to selling, right, you don't have to compete with too many of your neighbors.
Right now, let us jump into location. So Skye at Holland, as the name suggests, is at Holland Village, right beside One Holland Village, the condo, and then also the mall. North Buona Vista Road and Holland Road, they are quite busy roads, right? So what do you think of this location? I understand it's near MRT, near a lot of amenities as well.
It's busy for sure. But North Buona Vista Road itself is not as busy. But what you do get is like a lot of drivers coming in from Ghim Moh side or Dover side. They take this route to go towards PIE. or or either from there they go towards Bukit Timah lah. Okay, so but otherwise I will say that North Buona Vista Road is not that crazy, which is a good thing in this sense. When we look at the layout of the site plan later on, right, the developers have very strategically placed the units, or rather the blocks, right, closer towards North Buona Vista Road instead
It's
of
more
facing
towards Holland Drive lah, right?
Yes, correct,
More
exactly. Towards Holland Drive the side instead of towards Holland Road. Yeah.
The location itself, right, this is a fantastic location in my opinion. There is not many projects, right, that you can say is right beside Holland Village MRT. Not only that, you have more right beside you as well. What I like about this place is that it is so close to so many GCBs. So you can actually tell people that you stay in a GCB enclave. It kind of creates your environment. The people around you, the neighbors around you, they are all of a certain
So you're more
category.
posh as well when you move into this project.
Exactly. And like, the things that you get in this area, you don't go to the normal supermarket. You go to the expensive supermarket.
Cold storage, I know.
Yeah,
Cold
and
storage.
so over here it's about lifestyle, it's about the amenities you get around the area. You get all the different shop houses, restaurants and all that. So it's hard to compare this with any other locations around the area.
So one interesting fact for this project, right? Actually, this is the last plot that government has any land in that area. This is the last plot for sale in Holland area. That's a selling point, right? Because no longer in the future are there any plot of land that people can entry into this. So technically you're buying the last pieces of this area. So a very huge negative, right? There are no primary schools within 1 kilometer of this project.
I mean, primary school I feel is important. Yeah, so it's a pity that we are not within 1 km of any good schools, but at least we are within 2 km.
Yes,
Yeah,
within
so-
2 km to Henry Park and Fairfield.
But otherwise, this location, getting around the different schools, like if your kids are studying at Hwa Chong or NJC or Ngee Poly, NUS, all this is just right around the corner. A short 10 minutes drive, or even better still, from this particular project site, right, from Skye, Holland, it's a short 5 to 10 minutes walk to Buona Vista MRT, which is the interchange between Circle Line and East West Line. So your kids can get about very conveniently. Yeah.
Okay, right now let's talk about the site plan. So we'll flash on screen as well. If you notice right off the bat, the land shape is a little bit odd. So it's an L shape.
So this is where I mentioned earlier on how you notice the two blocks, right? They are placed closer towards Holland Drive itself. So Holland Drive itself is not.
It's a
such
relatively
big
quiet
area.
road lah.
Even though the land shape is odd, right, but they actually utilize it very well. If you look at how they actually utilize that finger part, they actually use it as a facilities area, right? And then they place the blocks very carefully closer to where the better views are as well. So actually from the site map, you can see that some of the units are facing the GCB area. Those will likely be the premium units with a nice view. Alright, but one thing that stood out to me when I saw this project was that they actually built multi-story car park, especially a luxurious project because multi-story car park usually are not so sought after . But the good thing is that even though it's a multi-story car park, right, I realized that they actually provide one-to-one car park lots, which is quite rare in today's project, right? Not only that, they have 18 EV chargers. So I feel that in terms of the site map, other than that, all the facilities are more or less there, except I think we don't have a tennis court.
Another fact is also your level 1 of your residence starts from level 4 onwards. Your first issue is that your level 1 to level 4 residents, you'll be looking directly into the car park. So that multi-story car park thing is not such a big issue. Let's analyze the layouts. So one interesting thing about this is there are 668 units, but 518 units are 2 to 3 bedder. So this project doesn't have any 1 bedder. What are some of the bedrooms that you guys think can be considered?
I feel like the 2-bed 1 bath at this Skye Holland could be something that's interesting for buyers out there to consider. So first thing, right, if let's say we consider the average PSF to be, let's say, 3,000, I think that's quite a fair gauge. We are looking at about 1.7 million for the 2-bed 1 baths at Skye Holland. Based on this kind of pricing, right, we know that it's a widely accepted pricing for CCR project for 2-bed 1 bath. If we compare to Evergreen, we already have a 2-bed 1 bath transacting at this price range. And if we compare the direct neighbor, right, One Holland Village Residences, their 2-bed 1 bath actually cost 2 million already. Back when they launched . couple of years back, yeah.
That's quite a while back.
Yeah, quite a few years back.
So you're buying into a past pricing lah.
Exactly.
Cheaper than
Yeah,
past
yeah,
pricing. If they launch at the price that we expected,
Yes, that's a very big if lah.
Yeah, correct.
So
Of
would
course
you
lah,
say
that's
if
like,
they were to launch at this price on 26 September, it's something that worth buying?
I think definitely if it fits your budget.
One thing about the two-bedroom, over here they are testing out, I believe, a new layout.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so
Very
if you look
interesting,
at the 2+ study, actually everything looks very good, right? Just that the study is inside the master bedroom, right? So it looks like a big master bedroom rather than the 2+ study to me. But that being said, right, if you go into the 2+ study, which is in the show flat, it looks like a very decent living size for a 2-bedroom. If I'm looking at this as a big 2-bedroom, I think it's fantastic.
My first thought when I walk into that show flat is to remove that study wall and then turn it into my bedroom space. Yes, make it longer. Maybe I have a lounge space. So how about the 3-bedder?
To be honest, the 3-bedroom layouts that we have so far, we don't know how the smaller one will look like, but based on whatever we can see for the 3-bedroom premium,
The
right?
2 premium layouts lah.
Yes, I think these are standard efficient
Quite
3-bedroom
conventional.
layouts. Yeah, and of course the premium units always come with a bomb shelter where families with helper actually can utilize that as a helper room.
Okay, so other than the 2-bedder and the 3-bedders, right? What else do you think people can consider buying?
5 bedders here.
Not the
5 bedder here.
4-bedders.
I was just doing some comparisons, right? The 5 bedders here, assuming say we are about 3,000 PSF, right? We are looking at about 5.3 million, right? You know, we take these and we compare to the 4 bedrooms at one Holland Village residences, right? You know how much they transact for already, the 4 bedrooms there?
How much?
Or rather back then when they sell.
Educate me.
Some of the prices there has really cost 7 million back then.
7 million for
7 million
4-bedder.
for 4 bedroom, yeah, at one Holland Village residences. So now, of course, you must go deeper and compare into the floor plan and this and that. But you just look at it on paper, right? 5 bedroom versus 4 bedroom. You are saving about
You get an extra bedroom, then it's almost $2 million cheaper.
Almost, yeah, more than 1.5 million cheaper to get an extra bedroom. Not to mention GLA harmonized.
For 5 bedrooms, if you look at the recent project launches, most of the 5 bedrooms are the ones that earn the most, right? So to me, I feel that there's a lack of 5-bedroom in the market because normally if you are looking at the 5-bedroom, you will only find them in landed homes, right? So recently, because there's a gap between the landed homes as well as to the condos, that's why developers are actually building 5 bedrooms. So they act as a in-between house between the condos and the landed. Recently, all the developers that look at efficiency of the layout, right, they try to do this wet and dry kitchen combi. Look at how the 5-bedroom actually, the kitchen is laid out, right? You can actually open the door to make it into a dry and close the sliding door to make it into wet.
So it'll be enclosed when you do your
That's
your
right.
heavy cooking.
That's right. But this saves a lot of space so that you don't have to build that separated dry kitchen. And that makes the space a little bit bigger. In this particular layout, one thing that maybe I don't really like, right, is that if you look at the bathroom beside the junior master, it has to be shared by many people because the 5th bedroom, the junior master and your guests all must share the bathroom. But other than that, I think the 5-bedroom is pretty decently laid out.
So entry and exit, first thing that jumps out to me is the government land sale. So for this group of developers, they bought this land at a very low price. $1,285 per square foot per plot ratio. And that's lower than the recent government land sales. For example, at your Chuan Grove, that's an OCR project. Your Bayshore, that's an OCR project as well. So this is cheaper than all of them.
Naturally, when you look at the land cost, right, you can actually use that to extrapolate how much they will likely sell. And then if it's more than whatever that they should be selling, right, you know that this is slightly more expensive. To me, personally, I feel that if they launch anywhere between 2008 to 3001, right, I feel that it's still a good price to enter. And the reason is because Promenade Peak, River Green, right, has already set a precedent for the River Valley area already. So Holland Village, I would say it's also as premium of a location compared to River Valley, right? So in terms of PSF, if let's say it's around that range, right, it's actually a very good price.
So you would say that this location as compared to River Valley, it's almost a direct comparison for how premium it is.
I would say the pricing should be similar.
Should be similar.
Yes. Noting that the land cost is similar.
So given that River Green has launched, has sold at an average of over $3,001 per square foot, and then Promenade Peak has sold at over 3,300 per square foot. So if this is launched below that, this will be a good buy.
Correct, and not just that, right? Because you realize that these launches, especially River Green, right, did so well. They sold 91%, which means that this price range is what people can actually accept over there.
Because I mean, honestly, if you look at River Green, right, some of the PSF actually hit up to 2005, 2006, right?
But the quantum was still
They
reasonable.
kept the quantum very palatable.
Other than the PSF, because I would say that the sizes are done very well. They are done to extend that it will fall somewhere between the sweet spot of where buyers are willing to accept, as long as they price it around this price range, which is around 2008 to 2001, the kind of price range, right? It should fall within. That means a 2-bedroom, right? Can you imagine starting from about 1.6 over million if they price it around 2829, but we don't know that yet, right? So, but if the price range for a 2-bedroom anywhere below 2 mil, right, definitely will get snapped up. Any 3 bedrooms around 3 million or below will also get snapped up.
Actually, for these prices, very hard to find in the CCR region really.
Even in the RCR region, you can't find. Yeah.
Getting harder and harder to find. I mean, just compared to like Nama Grove, Pine Tree Hill, some of the 2-bedrooms already cost 1.8, 1.7.
And that's in District 21.
Yeah.
So I think other than that, the next more important point is we want to look a little bit into the future, correct?
Looking at all these projects coming out in near Holland, Bukit Timah area at this kind of price range. We haven't even talked about Bayshore, Chuan Grove, all this. Also at almost 1,004 PSF per plot ratio, right? We can tell that, right, in 2026, I think there's going to be a new benchmark of pricing for sure. What do you think? I mean, that's what I feel.
So one thing that I want to point out is that if right now we can buy Skye at Holland cheaper than outside city area, cheaper than Bayshore, cheaper than Chuan Grove, is it something worth considering? To me, I feel that if we already know that Chuan and all these other places in outside area, right, are already going to be more expensive or as expensive, I feel that if we can buy in now, we really need to make sure that we make use of this opportunity. It's really, I feel, one of the last pieces of land that is bidded at this kind of prices in the city area. And moving forward, right, the next unit that will come up will probably be either Dunyan or Holland Link, which is not nearly as good of a location as this, but they are already $100, $200 per square foot more in terms of the land cost. So I think we really need to take advantage of it.
So there's an opportunity here.
Opportunity, that's right.
There's a gap in the market right now for this government land sales wise.
Yep.
Basically, from this you can tell that likely this will be buying in core central region price, right, at maybe even OCR price 1 year down the road.
Okay, with all that said, let's move on to our final section where each of us will score the project and give our reasons why. Why do we think this project deserves the score and why you should buy or shouldn't buy.
Okay, honestly, right, I love the location itself, the connectivity of it, the layout of this entire project. I think there's a lot of plus. The only take on this, my only issue with this is the fact that we are not within 1 km to a good school. So I think traditionally in Bukit Timah area, we do see a lot of families, or rather clients coming in, right? They are families, they're looking to be near Henry Park or near Nanyang Primary, So I think this might be something that's a bit disadvantageous for this project. But otherwise, right, in terms of layouts, the project itself, the site itself, the unblock facing, the connectivity, I think all these are looking good.
I don't know why you guys have scored it so low, but I feel that this project is really quite decent, to be honest. I feel that if the numbers make sense, it's a worthy investment, right? So as long as the entry price is right, I feel that it's still worth buying. That being said, obviously, because we don't know what is the entry price at this point of time, right? So it all depends on how much the developers decide to launch it at, right? So obviously, if it's whatever that we expected, that price range, right, anywhere between like 2008 to 3001, that kind of price range, I feel that it's still a worthy buy. You can still make money. But in terms of the project itself, I feel that there isn't too much like unique selling points. Yeah, I think that's mainly maybe that's the reason why you guys gave it such a low score. But I feel that at the end of the day, right, when I look at the property, it's mainly more about pricing to me, whether it makes money or not.
So firstly, I'll talk about the good points. I love the location, Holland Village, classic, right? So Holland Village is for somebody that stays in the west, comparable to somebody staying in the east, they are Katong, right? They are District 15. So it's very historical, very nice. You know, a lot of very historical buildings. You have your cafes, your bars. Right, location is fantastic, and I think the project is pretty well done from what we saw at the show flat. But I do agree, so for the negative, I do agree that for something that's in the CCR region, this isn't, I don't feel the premium. Let us know what you think about this project. Do you agree with our score? Whose score do you agree with? If you're looking for this project, feel free to contact us.